I've spent a lot of time as a virtual assassin on the Quest 3, but after so many hours in-game, do I think you should actually buy Assassin's Creed Nexus VR? I've broken this video into 3 parts to help answer that question. How does the game actually look? How does the game play? And finally, is this actually a legit Assassin's Creed game? Let's get started on how it looks. Parkouring over the rooftops doesn't get old, especially when you're taking in such impressive scenery. I've only played it on the Quest 3, but it's really clear and there's a lot of attention to detail. A lot of fine details like water on the streets, smoke from candles, and of course the distance you can see is all very impressive. Looking over all the rooftops with their fires lit and smoke coming through their chimneys just looks great. It really adds to the life of the game and makes the world feel lived in. Talking about being lived in, just look at how many people are roaming the streets, doing their little tasks or having little conversations with each other. It really is one of the most lively worlds I've been in VR. There's also a variety of locations and semi-open world areas for you to explore, each of them surprisingly different than the last, which is a great thing. Now, I gotta say, the sea doesn't look great, but you know, the rest of the game looks great, so we can let it pass on the big block of blue that is the sea. How does the game play? There's a lot of mechanics to get right in this game, and they've actually got most of them right. To parkour, you press down on the thumbstick to sprint, and then hold on the A button to perform jumps. And it actually feels very fluid. It's fast-paced and especially satisfying when you run, jump, and swing from a pole. However, it is a bit weird when you can't press the A button to just jump in the streets. You have to be next to or parkouring towards something that is in your jumping distance, and you auto-jump onto it while holding down the A button. I actually had a few issues throwing myself up onto ledges or platforms when swinging my arms, but I've had this in many VR games. You just really have to throw yourself over platforms to do it properly. Combat is actually more complex than I expected. I thought it would just involve swinging your sword around, but there's actually quite a bit to it. You can unlock upgraded abilities that let you perform extra movements on enemies, like a dash mechanic where you can run into the enemy and disorientate them for a second. You can block swings of swords, use your hidden blade to lunge forwards towards an enemy when there's an opening, and there are even some unblockable attacks certain enemies can perform that you have to physically move your head by dodging or ducking to avoid the hits. It's pretty cool. You can change the difficulty of enemies too, which is great, because some of the stronger enemies really do put up a fight. I was killed by some of the stronger guards on a normal setting, so there is actually a little bit of a challenge here, especially if you increase the difficulty. I also want to add there is a lot of comfort options here. Now, I don't use them, I just go in intense mode, most immersive, but hey, if you need them, they're there. Now, the main question everyone is asking, is Assassin's Creed Nexus VR a legit Assassin's Creed game? Well, the short answer is yes and no. And the long answer is, you definitely feel more like an assassin than ever before. Getting to physically flick your wrist to get your hidden blades out is just so cool. Parkouring just makes you feel like you're in a movie, and the worlds are lively and look fantastic. With about 15 hours of just the campaign and the option to go back and replay some of the areas to try and find collectibles that you may have missed, this is actually a pretty large VR game, especially for the Quest. Now, it might not be the longest Assassin's Creed game, this is definitely one of the longer virtual reality games available on the Quest today. But outside of that, there's not really a lot of side quests or extra missions for you to go on. Overall, I think this is a great VR game. One of my new favorites for sure. Ubisoft have done a great job of making a AAA VR experience here. At just over 16 gigabytes of storage on the Quest 3, and you'll still have plenty of room for other games on your headset. Want to see more Assassin's Creed VR? Subscribe and share what you think of the game in the comments down below. Is it what you expected? Is it better? Or is it worse?